We've seen oil prices jump. We're talking roughly 12 to 15% higher than what it was before the attack took place. That is tied to the fact that 20% of global supply goes through this narrow choke, this waterway that comes out of the Persian Gulf called the Strait of Hormuz, which has a lot of Middle Eastern supply that exits. Even if you're looking at the best case scenario, you're talking 12% of global supply is stuck. And that is very, very sizable. And that's really why we've seen this price reaction. And we've seen concerns that the longer this drags on, this could keep going higher. Typically, a lift in oil prices or changes in oil prices will show up in Australian blouses about 2 weeks later. Now, that's in city centers. When you talk about regional areas, it can take a bit longer. But the reality here is that it's not just the oil price that's changing. When we talk about what we used a refined oil product, which is either petrol or it's diesel. They have absolutely surged as well because everyone is trying to grab as much diesel and petrol in the world market right now. The other factor to consider is freight costs. They have also jumped because you can imagine all these tankers are getting stuck waiting to either go past the strait or just stay where they are. And so freight costs have surged as well. The final thing that you have to consider for Australian fuel costs is the Australian dollar. Now that has, of all those 4 factors, the Aussie dollar has been the least influential, but it's the other 3 where we've seen some big movements and they all have to be added to each other. The longer this goes on, the more that higher oil price gets embedded into other prices. So think about you're transporting fruit. Now that fruit price, now has to include higher diesel costs and people will have to pay more for it. Now that won't happen instantaneously. That'll happen if this stays prolonged for weeks, months, 6 months.